Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel. Now then, on today's video we're looking at our EasyRC Thunderstorm again. If you remember in the last video I put some wheel weights on supplied by RC all-wheel drive. They worked perfectly. The only reservations I had was I lost a little bit of low down throttle control because it just takes a little bit more oomph to move the RC, because this thing it must be twice as heavy with the wheel weights on as the original truck. Luckily, RC all-wheel drive did send me in the same package. They sent me a big bore motor, a 370 34 turn motor, and a metal steering servo kit to put on. So that's what we're going to be doing today. See if we can restore some of that low down throttle response that we lost by putting the wheel weights on. Don't get me wrong, these wheel weights are absolutely fantastic. They look great and they do the job. They are very heavy for the truck though, I will say that. They are really heavy pieces of kit. I mean, they're solid, but they do the job. But like I say, hopefully we'll be able to restore a little bit of the steering performance. That's probably what they sent all this lot, to be honest. Big thumbs up to RC all-wheel drive as usual. They really have gone the full distance here by sending me these bits and pieces. And like I say, fit the servo kit and fit the 370 motor and see what happens. I know with the 370 motor, we're going to have to cut the bodywork in some way, shape or form. I mean, not that the truck doesn't work without the big bore motor with the wheel weights on. You still get a reasonable crawl. I would just like a bit of that fine control. So hopefully this metal gearbox and motor, etc. will do the job. Right, that's the bodywork off. It's super easy this. There's only 2 screws at the back and 4 screws at the front. I took the bumper off as well, and there we got the body in its entirety off the truck. I've had to disconnect the lights, which is just that little plug there. And we can have a look at the motor and gearbox on this thing now, a bit more of a close-up. It's only a little, they call it a 050, but I'm not sure if it's like a 180 size sort of motor, but it's only small, but by heck it does the job. Anyway, there's our servo at the front there. We're going to be replacing that and that. Let's have a look at these and get these out the bag and have a butcher's at them. Right, old motor is out. Again, fairly straightforward, just 4 screws either side of the mount, and you have to take the 4 screws out the axle linkages that mount onto the motor mount. Looking at the new motor, just taking it out of the packaging, I mean, as ever, it looks exquisitely machined. We've got a little RC all-wheel drive logo there, which is a nice touch. It does come with its own mount because it won't fit on the original. You get a little aluminium mount that fits basically where the old one did. Looking at this thing, it is considerably bigger than the old one, the old motor. So I think we're going to have to take a reasonable amount off the bodywork in order to get this thing to fit. But hey ho, it is what it is. But I'll start putting this thing together. It does look exquisite though. I mean, you've got all metal gears inside. Everything runs on bearings. I'm going to have to put some grease in there before we seal it up, but it does look a really nice quality piece of kit, this. I forgot to mention the price actually while I was in my excitement. I think this retails for about 38 quid, the 370 motor, I think, which is about $45-ish. And the steering servo kit, I think it's 25 quid, which is approximately $30, I would imagine. Comparing that with the price of these wheels, which I think were £55, I think the motor kit is quite reasonably priced, to be honest, because it does look a nicely machined and put together thing. But anyway, the prices I think compared to the wheels are quite reasonable. Anyway, let's go ahead and start assembling this. Right, I've assembled the motor onto the mount and I've put the plastic drive shafts back on. Yes, I know the plastic ones, I'm going to reuse them for the time being. It might be easier to put the shafts on first before you put the mounting plate on, and I must admit this thing made me feel really thick because you've actually got 3 mounting holes on the actual gearbox itself, but I had to go and watch a video on RC all-wheel drive's website, but you only use 2 of the mounting points. Basically you don't use a third, so I'm trying to get the third one to fit in, to no avail. But anyway, we'll stick it in the truck. I have tested it, it does work. Stick it in the truck, connect the axle tie rods and the gearbox shafts back to it, and we'll try it. Okay, then that's the motor installed. It was a little bit of a faff because originally I thought it pointed forward like the original, but if you do that then it does foul this board here, so I had to put it to the rear, facing to the rear, which is a bit of a pain because you'd have to trim a bit more of the body out. But that's the way they've got it in the video, so that must be the way you have to have it. I did actually have to reverse the throttle as well, so I'm not sure whether it is supposed to go forwards, but like I say, it does show it pointing to the rear in the video. The only other thing I've discovered is when I've actually plugged it in and put a battery on it, etc., you still don't get much of a crawl. I don't know if we've just swapped a bigger motor. We've swapped our crawl for just wheel speed, because this thing, it's got, well, just check it out. I mean, full throttle. I mean, that's much quicker than it was before. And the crawl you get isn't as nice as it was before. So I wonder if we've literally put a bigger motor in and got a load more wheel speed instead of low down crawl. What I might do is I might just try this on the track without the bodywork on, because I don't want to cut the bodywork. What I want is crawl. This is a crawler. I don't want to put the bodywork back on and destroy the body to fit this motor if I'm not going to get that low down control. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's go and try it. Right, then we're outside. Let's see what the low down crawl is like. I'm not confident, I'm going to be honest with you. But anyway, go on, let's see what this thing is like. See if we can make a decent crawl out of it. See, it's just that low down bit of control you lose. I mean, don't get me wrong, the quality of these parts they're really nice, but yeah, just not very nice to use. I don't know if a beefier ESC would be any better, but with the stock ESC, it's just too jerky. It's fast as you like, this thing is now. I mean, it might be different again without these wheel weights, because these wheel weights do weigh quite a lot. Yeah, it's like, oh no, don't like it. Right, just for the hell of it, I've put the original wheels back on to see if the lighter wheels actually make a difference with regards to the crawl. So let's just try the motor and the original wheels, because it just could be those fouling them a bit. No. Still pretty much the same. Well, I must admit I'm not a fan of that motor and gearbox. And like I say, it's exquisitely made, really nice quality, but there's far too much wheel speed. I mean, I took it outside on the paving slabs, and it basically allows this thing to do donuts, which on a crawl isn't really required. So if you want to turn your EasyRC Thunderstorm into a drift truck, then get this motor. But for crawling, there's just far too much wheel speed, and the gearing's not right, I don't think. Well, I'm not particularly enamoured with the motor and gearbox. Let's try and redeem ourselves and fit this little metal geared servo assembly. Once again, the quality of the parts from RC all-wheel drive seem to be really nice, and we've got our little metal geared servo here. I think this is a bracket to allow the servo to be axle mounted. I'm not 100% sure, because it doesn't look as though it fits this truck. And we've obviously got the alloy steering links here, which they've got a little embossed RC all-wheel drive logo on them. They're really nice with the little brass bushes there. I would have liked the red ones, because you can't really see the black ones on the truck, but beggars can't be choosers. Right then, we're definitely not winning today, unfortunately, but that's how it goes sometimes. I've come to fit the servo kit, although the servo fits perfectly because it's the same one. Unfortunately, the kit that comes with it, I think, is for an axle-mounted steering servo. So the linkages don't fit this model. I would have to put the old linkages back on, which wouldn't ordinarily be a problem, because I was going to swap the servo horns over. But unfortunately, the servo horns are a different spline pattern, so I can't. So I'm a bit stuck at the moment. But c'est la vie, that's the way it goes sometimes. It's just one thing you've got to watch out for. Then, if you've got an EasyRC Thunderstorm or Arizona, etc., some of these RC all-wheel drive parts will fit, but you might have to do a bit more circling around with them. I think they're for the SCX 18, is it, with an axle-mounted steering servo? But never mind. Anyway, I have got one more part or parts to put on this that might actually solve all the issues we're having, but I'm gonna say that for another video, because at the moment I've just run out of time with what I'm doing. So next video we're gonna hopefully put some parts on that might gear it down slightly, and we'll definitely sort out that steering servo issue. So what have we learnt today? We learnt basically that the steering servo that doesn't fit, the linkage kit that came with it doesn't. We've learnt that bigger isn't always the best option, because the wheel speed on that 370 mode is just too much for crawling. But anyway, I've got another video coming up, hopefully, and that will solve all these issues. It may or it may not, so stay tuned. But anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, folks, and you found it of some use and interest, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're feeling that way inclined, hit that subscribe button. It makes a huge difference to the channel. Once again, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you again very soon.